Here's how you can continue expanding on the simple game we started in the previous video by adding enemies, sprites, and an extremely simple combat system to your TIC-80 game. Go to the sprite editor and switch to the sprite tab. In the first spot, draw a sprite for your player character. Below that, draw a couple of sprites to be your enemies. Go back to the code editor and add in some info to your player table to identify the new sprite as well as their starting HP. The sprite's ID should be 256 because the tile sheet takes up ID 0 through 255 and the sprite sheet starts at 256. We also need a blank table for the enemy data. Now let's create a tile that will be our enemy spawn tile. Give it sprite flag 1, then go place the tile around your map. Next, we'll write a function that is going to scan through the map across the Y and X axes for the spawn tile. Then, when it finds one, it will convert the coordinate from our tile-based map and select a random enemy sprite from the range of sprites on our sprite sheet dedicated to enemies, giving it 3 HP by default for now, and then insert it into the enemies table. Now, go down to the main draw function and switch from using a rectangle to our new player sprite. We just need to use the p.spr variable and remove some stuff from the end and then add 0. Because we use 0, TIC-80 uses the color palette 0 as the transparent color, so anything that was black is now transparent, including the eyes of the sprite. We can fix that later. Now we need to draw the enemies. Set up a loop that goes through the enemies table and draws the correct sprite for each enemy in the table at the coordinates of their tile. We'll then add a quick display for their HP. Wait, but there's no enemies. That's because we need to call the spawn enemies function at some point. Now they're all here and they're all different kinds. Let's now set up a function that allows us to detect when we collide with the enemy. This is a bit different from when we handled collisions with walls before. Essentially, it will return true if the two specified entities are in the same place, and we can reuse it later. Then we'll set up the combat function. This will run constantly in our main loop and check the collision function for all enemies in the table. If it returns true, the main player will start being attacked and they will lose health. But if they press the Z button, the enemy gets attacked back and they lose health. If the enemy is out of health, we need to remove them from the enemies table. Oops, we need to add the combat function to our main loop. Let's also add a quick GUI to track the player's health. Cool, now we can attack and be attacked. See what more you can come up with while I work on the next video.